There is a stretch of ocean in the western Atlantic where the laws of nature seem to dissolve, where compasses spin aimlessly, skies darken without warning, and ships vanish without a trace. It lies between the tip of Florida, the island of Bermuda, and the coast of Puerto Rico, a vast triangle of water that has, for over a century, swallowed hundreds of vessels and aircraft, leaving behind only questions, silence, and fear. They call it the Bermuda Triangle. For decades, this name has carried a weight of mystery. It's whispered in late-night conversations, written into history books, and even feared by experienced sailors. But what truly lies beneath those calm turquoise waters? Is it merely human error, or something far beyond our understanding? To understand the truth behind the legend, we must go back, far before the first modern disappearance, to the earliest days of exploration, when the ocean itself was still considered a living, breathing creature. Long before radar and radio communication, sailors depended on stars and instinct. Early Spanish explorers who crossed these waters in the 15th century described strange lights dancing upon the horizon and compasses that suddenly refused to point north. Some believed the devil himself haunted this stretch of the Atlantic, dragging ships down to his watery realm. Christopher Columbus, in his own logbook from 1492, described something eerily familiar. A great flame of fire crashed into the sea one night, and the compass no longer pointed to the same star. That flame of fire could have been a meteor, or perhaps something else entirely. Whatever it was, it marked the first recorded encounter with what we now call the Bermuda Triangle. As time passed, tales of strange occurrences grew. Ships reported vanishing fogs, ghostly lights hovering over the water, and sudden bursts of turbulence that no weather instrument could predict. Yet, despite centuries of navigation and technology, the mystery only deepened. The Bermuda Triangle covers roughly 500,000 square miles of open ocean, but hidden below that glittering surface lies a graveyard of history. Wreckage from galleons, cargo freighters, and military aircraft rest silently on the sea floor, many of them discovered decades or even centuries after they disappeared. Some have never been found at all. Perhaps the most famous of them all is Flight 19, a squadron of 5 U.S. Navy bombers that vanished in 1945 during a routine training mission. All 5 aircraft and the 14 men aboard disappeared without a trace. Even the rescue plane sent to find them vanished as well. No distress calls, no wreckage, no survivors. The official reports called it unexplainable. But witnesses that day claimed the sky turned strange, an unnatural green haze that swallowed the planes whole. Was it a weather anomaly, a magnetic field disruption, or something else, something alive lurking beneath? By the mid-20th century, the Bermuda Triangle had already become a legend. Scientists, skeptics, and believers all scrambled to find answers. Some blamed unpredictable weather, violent storms and rogue waves that can rise over 100 feet high without warning. Others pointed to methane gas eruptions from the sea floor, powerful enough to sink entire ships by reducing the water's buoyancy. And then, there were the stranger theories. Alien abductions, underwater energy portals, even remnants of Atlantis, a lost civilization that supposedly harnessed technology so advanced it could manipulate time and space itself. Each theory added another layer to the puzzle, and the more people tried to explain it, the more mysterious it became. What most people don't realize is that the Bermuda Triangle isn't just one fixed location. It shifts, subtly, over time. The ocean currents, magnetic anomalies, and weather patterns form a constantly moving web. Pilots have reported seeing their instruments behave erratically when entering certain coordinates, and then return to normal moments later. Some claim to have witnessed walls of clouds that that seemed almost solid, like flying into another dimension. Others described time distortions, clocks skipping minutes or hours, GPS readings that placed them hundreds of miles away from their actual location. Are these natural magnetic fluctuations or glimpses into a rift between worlds? The deeper we look, the more the triangle seems to pulse, as if it's alive, breathing, and watching. For centuries, sailors have feared these waters, but they've also been drawn to them, because despite all the warnings, the Bermuda Triangle continues to invite exploration. It's as if the sea itself calls out, daring us to uncover its secrets, knowing full well that those who enter may never return. And so, we begin our journey into the heart of the mystery, where every theory, every disappearance, every whisper of truth collides in the restless depths of the Atlantic Ocean. The Bermuda Triangle has kept its silence for centuries, but if we listen closely enough, perhaps we can finally hear what it's been trying to tell us.
Every legend is born from tragedy, from stories of loss that defy reason. And in the Bermuda Triangle, loss has a voice. It whispers through static-filled radios, unanswered distress calls, and coordinates that vanish from radar screens. For those who have disappeared here, the sea has always been their final witness and their only grave. It was a warm December afternoon in 1945. The world had just emerged from the ashes of World War II. 5 Navy Avenger torpedo bombers, collectively known as Flight 19, took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for what was supposed to be a routine training mission over the Atlantic. Their flight plan was simple: head east for a few miles, then north, and finally return to base. The mission was expected to last no more than 3 hours. But less than 90 minutes after takeoff, something went terribly wrong.
This is FT-28. We can't find west. Everything looks wrong. The ocean doesn't look as it should.
The lead pilot, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, sounded disoriented. The compasses on all 5 aircraft were spinning uncontrollably. The pilots believed they had somehow flown over the Florida Keys, but they were, in reality, hundreds of miles off course. Then came the storm. Massive clouds rolled in without warning, swallowing the horizon. Radio contact weakened, then faded entirely. "Don't come after us," Taylor's last words echoed through the static. "They look like they're from outer space." No one knows what he meant. A massive search and rescue operation was launched immediately, one of the largest in U.S. naval history. But the sea offered no answers. Not a single piece of wreckage was ever found. Even more chilling, the PBM Mariner rescue plane sent to find them vanished too, along with its 13 crew members. 27 men gone. No distress signals, no oil slick, no debris, just silence. But the mystery didn't start with Flight 19. Decades earlier, in 1918, an enormous U.S. Navy collier, the USS Cyclops, vanished between Barbados and Baltimore. It was a steel giant, over 540 feet long, carrying more than 300 men and 10,000 tons of manganese. The Cyclops sent no distress call. It simply disappeared somewhere between the Caribbean and the edge of the triangle. President Woodrow Wilson later said, "Only God and the sea know what happened to the great ship." Even today, no trace of the Cyclops or her crew has ever been found. And perhaps the most unsettling detail, 2 of her sister ships, The Proteus and Nereus vanished under eerily similar circumstances years later. It's as if the ocean itself chose them. Then came one of the strangest discoveries of all. The Carroll A. Deering, an American schooner found run aground off Cape Hatteras in 1921. When rescuers boarded the ship, they found everything perfectly intact. The galley stocked with food, the crew's clothes neatly folded, but the crew themselves were gone. Every single man. The ship's logbook and navigation instruments had vanished too, along with the lifeboats. There were no signs of struggle, no blood, no footprints in the sand. Some said the crew mutinied, others claimed pirates, but locals whispered a darker idea, that the Deering had sailed through a ghost fog and slipped momentarily into another dimension. Weeks later, fishermen began reporting strange lights hovering above the same region, moving silently, unnaturally, in perfect formation. The 1960s and 70s brought even more disappearances. Private yachts, cargo ships, even commercial planes, gone, often in clear weather, with no SOS. One pilot, Bruce Gernon, flying from Andros Island to Miami in 1970, claimed he flew into a tunnel of clouds. Inside, time seemed to distort. His instruments spun wildly, and when he finally emerged, what should have been a 90-minute flight had taken only 45 minutes. He had somehow jumped through space and time. NASA scientists dismissed his account, yet to this day, Gernon swears it was real, a time warp, as he called it, hovering above the sea like a living storm. Could these phenomena explain the other vanishings? Or is something else, something intelligent, at work in these waters? When researchers mapped out the disappearances, they noticed something chilling. The majority occurred along magnetic anomalies, invisible rifts where the Earth's magnetic field fluctuates wildly. Compasses fail, radios cut out, and in those moments of disconnection, something seems to reach out from the deep, as if waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Some say these anomalies are natural, caused by shifting tectonic plates or methane eruptions. Others believe they are remnants of ancient technology left behind by a civilization that once ruled the seas, Atlantis. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. The disappearances follow no pattern we can fully understand. They defy logic, prediction, and even physics. When man faces the unknown, we invent explanations to soothe the fear. But in the Bermuda Triangle, the explanations often sound stranger than the mystery itself. The sea doesn't just take, it erases. And every disappearance here feels less like an accident and more like a calling. Up next, we'll explore the scientific evidence, the data, the natural anomalies, and the hidden forces beneath the seafloor that may finally reveal the truth behind the Bermuda Triangle, or prove that something far beyond science is at play.
For centuries, humankind has tried to explain away the unexplainable. Whenever mystery confronts us, we turn to reason, to science, data, and logic, hoping to find a pattern within the chaos. And yet, when it comes to the Bermuda Triangle, even science struggles to speak with certainty. Among the triangle's strangest characteristics are its magnetic anomalies, invisible distortions in the Earth's magnetic field. Normally, magnetic north and true north differ slightly depending on where you are on the planet. But inside certain zones of the triangle, those 2 points can suddenly align or invert. compasses begin to spin, navigation systems fail, and pilots find themselves flying in circles. NASA's geomagnetic maps confirm that this region has one of the most unusual magnetic patterns on Earth. But what's causing it? Some geophysicists believe that massive deposits of magnetite, a naturally magnetic mineral, lie beneath the seafloor, bending the magnetic field above it. Others suggest something far more mysterious, that the magnetic irregularities are not static at all, but alive, shifting in waves like invisible tides of energy. Could these unseen fluctuations be powerful enough to disrupt aircraft instruments, distort radar, or even interfere with the human brain's sense of direction? If so, it might explain why experienced pilots like Charles Taylor of Flight 19 could no longer trust what they saw or where they were. In 1990, a group of Australian researchers made a discovery off the coast of Queensland that could hold another clue. They found enormous methane hydrate deposits frozen beneath the seafloor, pockets of gas trapped under pressure for thousands of years. When disturbed, these gas fields can suddenly erupt, releasing massive plumes of methane that shoot up through the ocean, reducing the water's density. A ship floating above could instantly lose buoyancy and sink in seconds, without warning, without a trace. The theory spread quickly. Maybe the Bermuda Triangle sits atop one of these unstable methane zones. If a ship triggered one of these eruptions, it would vanish before anyone could react, and any wreckage would be scattered, dissolved, or buried within minutes. But methane alone can't explain everything. Planes don't fly over methane plumes, and yet dozens of aircraft have disappeared. So, the mystery deepens. Skeptics argue that there's no curse at all, only human mistakes amplified by panic and coincidence. The Bermuda Triangle lies in one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. Hundreds of ships and aircraft cross it every day. Statistically, some will be lost to storms, navigation errors, or mechanical failures. And yet, the sheer pattern of these vanishings still disturbs even the most rational minds. Take magnetic compasses, for instance. A small deviation of just a few degrees could send a plane miles off course. Add unpredictable weather, limited visibility, and the psychological toll of disorientation, and disaster becomes almost inevitable. But here's the problem. Many of the pilots and captains who vanished in the Triangle were not amateurs. They were professionals, trained for chaos. They didn't panic easily. And still, they disappeared. So, is it truly human error, or something far older than human comprehension? Beneath the surface, powerful underwater rivers twist through the triangle, known as the Gulf Stream. This invisible current moves faster than most realize, shifting wreckage across hundreds of miles in days. It's a perfect thief. A ship goes down in one place, and within a week, every trace of it is gone, carried into oblivion by the sea itself. But even the Gulf Stream can't explain the reports of electrical interference, glowing waters, or silent fogs that appear and vanish like living entities. Scientists have measured strange electromagnetic pulses in the area, bursts of energy that seem to rise from the seafloor itself. One oceanographer described it as the ocean's heartbeat, a rhythmic pulse of energy, unexplained, untraceable, and possibly connected to deep tectonic movement, or something far stranger. In 1970, pilot Bruce Gernon described flying into a strange cloud formation that wrapped around his plane, like a tunnel. Inside, he saw flashes of light, like electricity dancing along the walls. His instruments went dead. Minutes later, he emerged to find himself 100 miles further than he should have been, and 30 minutes ahead of schedule. To this day, his story remains one of the most studied time slip accounts in aviation history. Meteorologists have tried to explain it as a lenticular cloud, a rare phenomenon capable of generating electromagnetic charges. But others believe Gurnon may have flown through something far more elusive, a temporary distortion of time and space, a rift in reality itself. Could the Bermuda Triangle be sitting atop an energy vortex where natural magnetic fields intersect, creating portals that momentarily distort the laws of physics? There's no proof, but there's also no other explanation that fits every account. Despite decades of studies, expeditions, and satellite scans, scientists remain divided. No single theory explains the magnetic distortions, weather anomalies, disappearances, and time distortions together. Each answer reveals another question, another shadow beneath the waves. Even modern technology hasn't conquered the triangle. Ships with advanced GPS systems have reported temporary blackouts, where every navigation display freezes and compasses lock in the wrong direction. When the systems reboot, they find themselves miles off course, sometimes in clear weather with no sign of interference. As if the triangle is playing with them, bending science just enough to remind us that we're not the ones in control. For all our intelligence, we still know less about our own oceans than we do about outer space. And somewhere in that dark, uncharted water, the answer is waiting. But maybe, just maybe, it's an answer we were never meant to find.
There comes a point when science falls silent, when data ends and imagination begins. For every logical theory about the Bermuda Triangle, there are others that defy everything we think we know about reality. Because perhaps this mystery isn't just about lost ships or missing planes. Perhaps it's about something hidden, a secret buried beneath the ocean that someone or something doesn't want us to find. Long before the triangle was ever mapped, ancient Greek philosopher Plato wrote of a mighty island civilization, Atlantis, said to have existed beyond the Pillars of Hercules, near the Atlantic Ocean. It was a place of incredible technology, radiant energy, and deep spiritual knowledge. And then, according to legend, it vanished in a single night. Many researchers believe Atlantis may not have been a myth at all, but a real civilization destroyed by a cataclysmic event. Some claim the Bermuda Triangle sits directly above its ruins. In the 1960s, explorers off the coast of Bimini in the Bahamas discovered a mysterious underwater formation, perfectly rectangular stone blocks arranged like a road. Locals call it the Bimini Road, and some believe it's the last surviving remnant of Atlantis itself. Even stranger, psychic Edgar Cayce, long before the discovery, predicted that parts of Atlantis will rise near Bimini in 1968 or 1969. The Bimini Road was found in 1968. Coincidence? Or something much deeper calling from the past? Cayce claimed Atlantis possessed crystal energy technology, massive power generators capable of harnessing the Earth's electromagnetic field. When that technology was misused, it caused violent energy disruptions, the same kind of anomalies we still detect in the Bermuda Triangle today. Could the triangle be the lingering heartbeat of a long-dead power source, still active, still unstable, still protecting its secrets beneath the sea? Then there are the theories that reach beyond our planet. Some UFO researchers believe the Bermuda Triangle is home to an underwater extraterrestrial base, a place where unknown crafts emerge from the ocean itself. Radar operators, naval personnel, and civilian pilots have reported transmedium objects, unidentified entities capable of moving from air to water at impossible speeds, without splash or sound. In 2015, U.S. Navy radar picked up what they called fast movers, objects detected beneath the surface of the Atlantic, traveling faster than any known submarine. The coordinates? Near the northern edge of the Bermuda Triangle. Satellite data has also revealed strange geometric shapes beneath the water, massive structures resembling pyramids or domes. Some oceanographers dismiss them as natural formations, but high-resolution sonar scans show perfect symmetry, far too precise to be random. Could these be remnants of an ancient civilization or alien constructs hidden deep below? Eyewitnesses from as far back as the 1950s have described glowing orbs hovering over the sea, then diving straight into the water. Some call them USOs, unidentified submerged objects, capable of navigating the depths as easily as the skies. Maybe the Bermuda Triangle isn't a natural anomaly at all. Maybe it's a gateway, a place where two worlds meet. Officially, there is no Bermuda Triangle mystery. The U.S. government dismisses it as myth, a fabrication fueled by coincidence and superstition. But documents declassified in the late 19th century hint at something different. Between 1950 and 1970, the U.S. Navy conducted secret operations in the region under a project known as Project Magnet. Its purpose? To study the Earth's magnetic field and unexplained electromagnetic disturbances over the Atlantic. Publicly, it was labeled geophysical research. Privately, it investigated magnetic anomalies near Bermuda that interfered with aircraft navigation, anomalies that some officials described as unnaturally concentrated. Another classified effort, known as Operation Deep Freeze, reportedly deployed submersible drones to explore deep trenches near Puerto Rico, areas where sonar detected massive caverns glowing with inexplicable thermal energy. None of those exploration reports were ever made public. Could it be that governments already know what lies beneath the triangle, but choose to hide it? One of the most controversial explanations is the vortex theory, the idea that the Bermuda Triangle acts as an energy gateway, a natural wormhole linking distant points in space or time. Dr. Ivan Sanderson, a biologist and geographer, proposed that Earth has 12 vile vortexes, regions where electromagnetic forces spiral and warp reality itself. 2 of these lie over the ocean, the Bermuda Triangle in the Atlantic, and its counterpart directly opposite, the Devil's Sea near Japan. Both share similar phenomena: sudden disappearances, compass malfunctions, and strange luminous fogs. If these are natural energy vortexes, they might connect through the planet's magnetic grid, forming a global network of portals. When certain conditions align, solar storms, tectonic vibrations, or cosmic radiation, these gateways might briefly activate, pulling anything within them out of existence. Is this why ships and planes vanish without a trace, as if they've simply been erased from time? If all this sounds unbelievable, consider this. Every theory, no matter how wild, stems from something, a spark of truth that refuses to be buried. Maybe the Bermuda Triangle isn't one mystery, but many. A perfect storm of nature, science, and the supernatural, converging in one cursed region of the Atlantic. Or perhaps it's something else entirely, something intelligent, aware, and waiting. Because when you strip away all the theories, all the science, and all the myths, one question still remains. Why does it choose? Why these ships? Why these planes? Why here and nowhere else? Until that question is answered, the triangle remains what it has always been, a mirror reflecting humanity's deepest fear, that we are not in control.
The ocean keeps its secrets well. For centuries, humanity has sailed across it, flown above it, and yet we've explored less than 10% of its true depths. If the Bermuda Triangle hides answers, they lie not on the surface, but far below, in the dark places where light has never touched. In recent years, technology has taken us deeper than ever before. Autonomous submarines now map the ocean floor using high-frequency sonar, tracing the forgotten skeletons of ships and aircraft swallowed long ago. Some of these missions have uncovered unexplainable structures, massive geometric shapes buried in silt as if an ancient city once stood there. Others have recorded electromagnetic pulses rising from deep fissures, bursts of energy strong enough to disable sonar and scramble satellite signals. In 2018, a team from the Ocean Research Foundation sent drones to a trench near the Puerto Rico Trench, one of the deepest points in the Atlantic. At 27,000 feet below, their sensors picked up something astonishing. A constant, rhythmic vibration, not random, not seismic. It pulsed in perfect intervals, like the slow beating of a heart. For 12 minutes, every camera and instrument malfunctioned. When they returned to the surface, the data from that moment was gone, erased. No explanation, no trace, just silence. Some oceanographers believe what we call the Bermuda Triangle isn't a single phenomenon, but a convergence of many. Magnetic fields, methane eruptions, rogue waves, underwater volcanoes, even rare weather systems that can swallow radar signals whole. Each theory explains something, but none explain everything. Why do the anomalies move, appearing one year and gone the next? Why do the disappearances cluster in cycles, almost as if following a pattern? And why do some pilots report seeing something, a wall of cloud, a flash of light, a distortion in the air, moments before vanishing? Even today, with satellites watching from above, ships continue to disappear in these waters, not as often as before, but enough to keep the legend alive. In 2021, researchers at a private institute in Reykjavik released a controversial study. They plotted every known disappearance inside the Bermuda Triangle over the past 200 years. Ships, planes, even smaller crafts. When connected, the coordinates formed something remarkable, a spiral, a near-perfect logarithmic spiral winding inward toward a single point, an area of the ocean floor just north of the Bahamas, the very heart of the Bermuda Triangle. When sonar scans targeted that spot, they revealed a depression in the seabed nearly a mile wide, smooth, circular, and unnaturally symmetrical. It's not a crater, it's not volcanic, it looks constructed. Scientists dismissed it as a coincidence, a natural formation shaped by currents. But to those who studied the triangle for a lifetime, it was confirmation, a doorway, sunken, silent, waiting. Some researchers have suggested something more radical, that the Bermuda Triangle itself may not be a place, but a phenomenon tied to the consciousness of the planet. Our planet, after all, generates electromagnetic energy, vibration, and resonance. Could the Earth, or something beneath it, be reacting to human activity,
sending out waves of distortion, swallowing what it cannot absorb. Ancient cultures often describe the ocean as a living spirit, a force that remembers, reacts, and sometimes punishes. Perhaps the triangle is that spirit's warning, a reminder that not everything can be measured, mapped, or controlled. Because what if the mystery isn't out there in the ocean? What if it's inside us, in that part of the human mind that hungers for the unknown, that sees a pattern where logic ends, that whispers, "There's more"? Imagine descending to the bottom of the triangle. Miles below the surface, the sunlight vanishes. The water becomes ink black, crushing, eternal. And in that darkness, if you listen closely, you might hear it, a low, rhythmic pulse, a hum, ancient and mechanical, yet strangely alive. Some explorers have said they've felt it, even miles away, a vibration that resonates through the hull, through their bones, through their very thoughts. It's as if something is sleeping down there, something old, something that remembers. Every mystery is a mirror, and in the Bermuda Triangle we see ourselves, our fear, our curiosity, our endless need to explain what cannot be explained. Maybe the answer is simple: storms, magnetism, human error. Or maybe it's something that exists beyond time, a rift, a memory, or a consciousness older than humanity itself. Whatever it is, it has endured for centuries untouched by science or superstition. Even now, as ships pass safely through its waters, the triangle waits, silent, watching, patient. It doesn't roar, it doesn't rage, it simply is. And every so often, when the sea is calm, the sky is clear, and the world forgets to be afraid, it reaches out once more. Perhaps the Bermuda Triangle was never meant to be solved. Perhaps it was meant to remind us that some truths are hidden for a reason.